this, yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
It's a huge spider that's gonna bite you.
I know.
No, it's not.
Where? On your
You
face.
said I know as soon as you said that.
Yeah, that's your, what's yours? Look, Carly. Hey guys, good evening and welcome back to McKelvey's Daily Bible. Today we only got 2 chapters, so we're just doing 18 and 19. The last that we went off was, well, Sarai got her name changed to Sarah, and now we're doing a son as promised to Sarah. So chapter 18. The Lord appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day Abraham was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and noticed 3 men nearby. When he saw them, he ran to meet them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. "My lord," he said, "if it pleases you, stop here for a while. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet." Now, mind you, throughout the Bible, they always talk about washing feet, there's a lot of sand, a lot of dirt. They're wearing sandals. They do not have tennis shoes and boots and stuff like that they wear every day like we do. Okay, so it's always about washing feet when you come in the house and stuff like that. And since you've honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare some food to refresh you before you continue on your journey. "All right," they said. "Do as you've said." So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, "Hurry, get 3 large measures of your best flour, knead it into dough, and bake some bread." Then Abraham ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt and milk and the roasted meat, and then served it to the men. As they ate, Abraham waited on them in the shade of the trees. "Where is Sarah, your wife?" the visitor asked. "She is inside the tent," Abraham replied. Then one of them said, "I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. So she laughed silently to herself and said, "How could a worn-out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, 'Can an old woman like me have a baby?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return about this time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, "I didn't laugh." But the Lord said, "No, you did laugh." That's one thing. You can lie to your parents, you can lie to anybody else. You cannot lie to the Lord. The Lord always knows. The Lord said, "You did laugh." Then the men got up from their meal and looked out towards Sodom. As they left, Abraham went out with them to send them on their way. "Should I hide my plan from Abraham?" the Lord asked. For Abraham was certainly become a great nation and become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. I have singled him out so that he will direct his sons and their families to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. Then I will do for Abraham all that I have promised. So the Lord told Abraham, "I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah," these two towns, Sodom, Gomorrah, right? "Because their sin is so flagrant. I am going to," okay, so flagrant means what?
Doesn't mean like,
Elegant.
yeah,
This,
like
this
elegant,
like
exposed.
flagrant, like you can smell
Elegant
it, you can
fragrance.
feel it. That's great. Okay, so like their sin was so deep, so much in this town or towns that you don't even have to barely enter the town just to know that these towns are wicked. Okay, and he said, "I'm going to go down to see if their actions are as wicked as I have heard. If not, I want to know." The other men turned and headed towards Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked?" Okay, so right there, like Abraham was like worried about. Okay, so God says He's going to like deal with this town, right? But Abraham's worried about the innocent people. Like, are you going to like destroy even the innocent people?
No.
So Abraham's worried, right? So he said, "God." So even the wicked. Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sake? Surely you would do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked? Why would you be, why would you, sorry, yeah, why you would be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same? Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? And the Lord replied, "If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake." Then Abraham spoke again, since I've already started, let me speak some more. Even though that I am dust and ashes, suppose there are 45 righteous people rather than 50. Would you destroy the whole city for the lack of the 5? The Lord said, "I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there." And Abraham pressed his request further. So he kept pressing God, right? "Suppose there's only 40. The Lord said, "I will not destroy it for the sake of the 40. Please, do not be angry, my Lord," Abraham pleaded. "Let me speak. Suppose only 30 righteous people were found." And the Lord replied, "I will not destroy it if I find 30. And Abraham said, "Since I have dared to speak to the Lord, let me continue. Suppose there's only 20. And the Lord replied, "Then I will not destroy the whole town for the sake of those 20. Finally, Abraham said, "Lord, please, Don't be angry with me if I speak one more time. Suppose there's only 10 found in this whole entire city, okay? And the Lord said, then I will not destroy it for the sake of those 10. Okay? So right now, this whole entire city, if there's only 10 righteous people in this whole entire city, God promises he's not going to destroy it. Okay? When the Lord had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. Chapter 19. That evening, the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot, who was sitting there, and when now, remember who Lot is? No.
His brother.
Nephew.
Nephew. Sorry. Nephew.
Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them, these two angels. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Oh, no, they replied. We'll just spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them. That's a lot of food. When they say feast, imagine just like a bunch of food. Okay?
A big table, a bunch of food.
All right. Now, it was complete with fresh bread made without yeast. Now, that means that, you know how the loaf of bread that we have, okay, you know how fluffy it is? It's fluffy because yeast was added to it. Without it, you got this kind of flat bread, almost like a kind of pita bread.
Like they had at the dinner, whenever it was the night before Jesus had to be crucified.
The Last Supper.
I mean, yes,
the last time.
yes, but I was trying to point out what you guys have had that has bread without yeast. It's like this, it's this bread that's about this thick. It's kind of like a pita bread. Okay. So they had a feast that had fresh bread that was without that, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. Now, mind you, you've got your two angels, and you've got, I already lost it already. It's Lot, okay, and God only knows who else is in this house, right? So, all of the men, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded this house. All right? And they shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so that way we can have sex with them. Now, mind you, male on male with sex is an abomination with God. Just like female on female. This is how to show that these towns were that evil and wicked. To the point where they're like demanding these two men to come out so they can defile them. So Lot stepped outside to talk with them, shuttering the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Virgin meaning has never had sex before, male or female, okay? 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please, leave these 2 men, which are the 2 angels. They're trying to have sex with these 2 angels, mind you. Alright? Please leave these 2 men alone, for they are my guests and under my protection. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to this town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge? We'll treat him as far worse than those other men. and they lunged towards Lot to break down the door. But those two angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were outside the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. So the angels used their powers, and everybody was outside the door trying to get in. The angels blinded them. They could not see. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. "Do you have any other relatives here in the city?" they asked. "Get them out of this place. Your son-in-laws, your sons, daughters, or anyone else. For we are about to destroy this city completely." The outcry against this place is so great, it reached the Lord, and he has sent us, the two angels, to destroy this city. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, "Quick, get out of the city! The Lord is about to destroy it." But the young men thought he was only joking. At dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. "Hurry!" they said to Lot. Take your wife and your two daughters who are here. Get out of here right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city." When Lot still hesitated, the angels seized his hand and the hands of his wife and the two daughters and rushed them to safety outside of the city, for the Lord was merciful. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Run for your lives and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away." "Oh no, my lord," Lot begged. "You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness, but I cannot go into the mountains. Disaster would catch up to me there, and I would soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved." "All right," the angel said. "I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village. But hurry! Escape to it, for I could do nothing until you arrive there." This explains why the village is also known as Zor, which means little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them, along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, which God said not to do, and she turned into a pillar of salt. She immediately died. She did not do what God said. She looked back and turned immediately into a pillar of salt, and then salt everywhere. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain towards Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities on the plain. Afterward, Lot left Zor because he was afraid of the people there, and he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his two daughters. One day, the older daughter said to her sister, "There are no men anywhere in this entire area, so we cannot get married like everyone else, and our father will soon be too old to have children." Okay, so I remember this part. What I'm about to read, it's messed up. This is not something you would do in real life, but this is what happened. Okay? "Come, let us get him drunk with wine," their father, "and we will have sex with him. That way we will preserve our family line through our father." So sisters are saying, let's get our father drunk, and the daughters are going to have sex with their father. Again, gross. Moving on. So that night, they got him drunk with wine, and the older daughter went in and had intercourse with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting up. So he had no idea. Like, he was so drunk, he had no idea what happened. The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, I had sex with our father last night. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight so you can go in and have sex with him. That way we'll preserve our family line through our father. So again, they're trying to get pregnant for both women so they both can have children and go from there. So that night, they got him drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, as he was unaware of lying, so he had no idea yet again. So the daughters are the ones who are in the wrong here, okay? As a result, both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of a nation we know as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ammi. He became the ancestor of the nation known as the Ammonites. So anytime later on, which it will be brought up, the Ammonites and the Moabites, now you know where that came from.
Don't they fight?
Spoilers!
I didn't even know that.
Okay, so that is the end of the reading. Anyone with questions?
No.
I have one.
What's up?
Whenever they said that his wife was gonna have a son, and yet she turned into salt, how does he have a son now?
Oh, no. Different person.
Never mind.
Yeah. What?
Whenever
Hang on. I'm sorry. The person that got turned into a salt was the mother of the daughters who had sex with their father. You understand? That's who you're thinking of. What?
So whenever you said columns, it sounds like Colin.
Alright. Anybody else?
No.
Alright. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Don't forget to like, share, follow. Make sure everybody knows we got to share the Lord's word out, right? So this is the way we can do it, right?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, we can't do it without you guys' help.
Bye bye.
Have a great night.